Okay, Lori, welcome back, Lori. We're live into our Facebook group and our pages. So I want you to give us a little recap on the presentation we did last Wednesday, which was on STEAM, not STEM, STEAM. So give us a little recap and then go into the next 5 or 4 things we were going to share with us.
I had 5 more. There were 10 on the list. So yeah,
Yes,
we'll do 5 more today.
perfect.
All right. Well, hi everyone. Good to see you again, week 2. So last week we talked about something that's really important to me, which is the findings that I just found out from the World Economic Forum about the 10 most valuable skills that they see that your children need to know for the future, right? Actually, even now, right? And even now. And a lot of those skills fell into the categories of executive functioning, 21st century skills, approaches to learning that I've used in the International Baccalaureate schools. So the skills are actually very, very relevant, taught today. But the World Economic Forum has endorsed these as really the top 10 skills that kids need to know.
What it didn't surprise me is what you do as a holistic NeuroGrowth learning success coach. Is part of your training is all of these skills. Without those, we don't find kids to learn because we have to get their mind prepared, and they have to believe in their own ability and have control over their mind to apply these 10 skills you're going to talk about today. So give me the first 5 you shared last time so we can really bring that to our memory, because I even forgot already.
All right. Is it okay if I just share my presentation? Because some people are visual learners.
Yes,
so let me go ahead and share that. Are you able to see my?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Oops. Let me
So you
share.
want to share the bigger
Yeah,
screen?
let me present it. Yes. My apologies. Okay, there we go. Okay, so wonderful. The top 10 skills that we talked about, this is an actual copy of the World Economic Forum report. And those top 10 skills are listed here. I know they're very small, so I'm going to blow them up for you. But I like this page because it's actually from the report, but it also kind of color codes you can see there the blue skills, which are 5 of those top 10 skills are problem solving skills.
Wow.
I know. So problem solving is huge. And I think last time, Kohila, you and I talked about you just having to solve a problem right before we got on the call, right? And we all probably
And that's why I like math, right?
Right.
Especially for my math brain. I fell in love with math, and math became therapy because whenever I couldn't solve my real problems in life and I sat with the problem in math and I could get an answer, it empowered me every single time.
Nice. Yes.
There's a victory to problem solving, right?
I know.
Yes.
I love that. I love that aha moment. That actually that's actually the thing that keeps me going when those kids get that aha, or even adults, right? When we're like, oh, this is so hard. I can't do this. I can't do this. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, I got it.
Yes.
I love that.
Such an I did it feeling. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. The other skills in here were the green. So the green, there's top 2 green ones, and that is self-management skills.
Yep.
We both laugh. Yeah, we both have kids. We both know that's very important for ourselves, our children, the children we coach. Yeah.
But also since COVID, I believe that it has become our state management and self-management has shifted, right? Where a lot of people are experiencing difficulties, right? It's almost like we're reintroducing ourselves into the world for many kids too, right? Kids, our students have had a lot of issues with that. So yes.
Absolutely. And I'm actually going to touch on that on one of these today, where we talk about empathy and what we're kind of lacking in society today, I think, is a lot of empathy. All right, so let's go into these. Last week we talked.
What was the other 2? I'm just curious.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what's the green ones?
The other 2, there were the darker blue here. My arrow's this way, huh? Yeah. The darker blue is technology use and development.
Okay.
And we know we all need to use technology very much.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even ChatGPT, we need to, everyone is afraid of it, but we need to bring it like a tool, like it was like calculator for math, right?
Right.
If we don't use it, you need to use it as a tool. It's not your brain. It's not a replacement for your brain. it's actually a tool, because
Right.
I don't let my students touch the calculator until they actually have a flow chart and actually at the step where they actually need the calculator, not the first step in the problem solving, right? It's not the
Uh-huh.
first step, it's kind of the last step before you finish the problem.
Right.
So same thing with chat GTP, right? You're big about that, you train a lot of teachers even on that. We need to really get on that, get to our children as that's a tool, how are you going to use it and how do you make it work for you,
Right.
right? That's
Right.
important. So I can see why technology is big there. And the last one, what
A
was
big one.
that?
The last one was leadership and social
Oh
influence,
yeah,
and that is working with people. So
people skill.
obviously, yeah, the skills of working with people. We all have to do it. It still will be important in the future, and absolutely essential to learn.
And you agree that with chat GTP and all this AI advancement coming, that's one thing that AI cannot replace. It's the interaction human and human can have. Never, like that skill could never go away, right? We can replace everything and anything with these robots or whatever, but
Right.
until for human, that's the biggest thing is the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay, so
Yeah,
cool.
a
Thank
human
you.
set of eyes on something is absolutely important. You're right. Well, great. So what we talked about last week were the first 5 top 10 skills. The first 5, you can see there again, we've got 4 of those are the problem solving skills.
Yeah.
Wow, it's just amazing. So we talked about analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, and creativity, originality, and initiative.
Yeah. I think it's all I just can't agree more with this document.
I
Thank you for
know.
sharing that. It just problem solving, it just creates so many neurological pathway for kids, and it relaxes them. They become very curious and inquisitive about what's happening, right, in the problem solving techniques that we teach them as learning success coaches too. So it's amazing. So what's the next 5? I can't wait to see.
All right, the next 5. Here we go. So we're going to talk about leadership and social influence. Then we get to our 2 technology pieces, right? Technology use, monitoring and control, and technology design and programming. That's probably not very surprising for the future. Resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. I love that one because like you were just saying, that aha moment, you don't get to the aha moment until you go through the stress and have resilience, right?
Yeah.
And then that last one is reasoning, problem solving, and ideation.
Absolutely. I agree. So are we going to go into each one of these a
Yep.
little bit? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's take a few minutes. I just wanted to stop for a second and
Oh
remind
yeah.
people that we're talking about STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, math, and art.
It's
So
not the steam that comes out of the pot. I don't know.
right. Or when you search up STEAM nowadays, you get that. I think it's some kind of gaming
Oh yeah.
platform. Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
it.
So you get that a lot too. So but the art integration is wonderful addition to all of these because people tend to have, I know great scientists who are amazing musicians, right? Or wonderful mathematicians that are amazing artists or musicians as well. That just the brain just works that way, right?
Well, if you think about it, I love flowers, right? Why do I love flowers? Because it's so symmetrical. I just see all the way that it's designed, the design of it, right? Every flower has its own design, a masterpiece.
Right.
And
Right.
all I can see is the art and the math inside of it every time I look at it, right? Like, and then there's science part of it too, right? So
Right.
I love how all of this go together. And we talked about other day too, right? How if your child doesn't like to do one of the subjects here, you can sneak it in.
Right.
You don't even know you're doing math.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't even know you're doing art.
Yeah.
I actually got inspired recently, Kohila. I'm going to write a children's book
Nice.
about the math in art or the math in nature.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I love Fibonacci sequence and those type of things. It's so exciting. We'll have to talk more about flowers and art.
Yeah, you can have all my flower pictures.
Yes, there's so much math in nature. I'm so excited. All right, so let's get going. We're going to get practical here. So this is part 2 of getting practical. These are the skills you can see that we're going to talk about and what the World Economic Forum calls them. So
Mm.
sometimes we don't use this language, so that's why I gave you two ways to
Connect.
phrase it as we go through these 5 skills.
Mm.
So the first one is we're going to lead with empathy and inspire teamwork. The World Economic Forum calls that one leadership and social influence. And we were just saying that earlier, right? Empathy is so important. And so as a family, what I'm suggesting parents could do, and again, one of many suggestions that I have in my mind, but you could volunteer as a family in a community project, discuss the importance of working together and understanding the different viewpoints that you might see when you're volunteering. And why I'm saying this, what the strategy is behind this is that because role playing different scenarios where leadership and teamwork are needed, and the ability to discuss how empathy leads to better group dynamics and solutions.
Yes.
So I think as a teacher, I was very much trying to get my students to be empathetic. It's something I definitely do with my son. And I just feel like empathy is really missing today. Like you were just saying about coming back from COVID, right? That
And also use of phone. I think people can say things. Sometimes you have these posts and comments, and people are just saying it as there's not a person behind those text messages, just because we're saying it in words, not in so, I mean typed words, not words
right,
coming out of our mouth. So because we're losing that connection, we can say whatever we want, but that's not true, because that is also verbally being said to someone, and they could be heard, and they could feel bad, and it could even cause harm, especially for our kids and students, right? Because
right,
they believe in everything that they hear from their peers and other people. So I do think that's really important to make sure we don't lose that connection. We are still talking to another human, even though it's
right.
texting.
And thank you for saying that. We're going to actually talk about that as a strategy coming up here that is tied into our technology. So, yeah, absolutely. And just being able to feel what other people are feeling when you do send those texts. Would you really want to
Yeah.
receive that text? Is it a good thing? So,
Yeah, check it twice. That's why I don't send any emails or text messages anymore when I'm in certain mood, because I always write it. I cut and paste somewhere, and I wait, and then I send, because the immediate reaction is always, sometimes you don't even read half of it, right? And you send it, and then you read it later, and you overreacted maybe, right?
right,
We all have those moments. So
right.
that's why pause, think before you send. It's great
Yeah.
techniques.
Good
Even we're
strategy.
all learning too, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is not just for kids, right? We can all take these pieces of advice, I think, and use them in our own lives.
Yes.
All right, so the next one is understand and ethically apply technology. So the World Economic Forum piece here is the active learning and learning strategies. So we love here as us coaches, right? We love to learn. So why not explore together the settings of your favorite app or device, discussing privacy settings, data sharing, and the ethical use of technology. This is just, I put this in here because, like you were just saying, we send stuff, we do things that we don't really want to do. But also, as parents, sometimes I think we just impose these um, standards or these rules without kind of telling and explaining to the children we're doing this because
Yeah.
it's harmful. It could, it doesn't go away. People save this, and you will never get a job if you send something that's not okay, right? It will be on the internet forever, and they will find you. So ethical use of technology, that's a great one to sit with your children, sit down with your children and talk to them about, why am I setting these restrictions? It's not because I'm being mean. It's because I care about you, and you're not quite at the brain development stage to make the right
That's
informed
decisions.
decisions, right? So, and that's what I'm saying in the strategy here. Yeah, it's just guidelines, as a family, talk about it and
Yeah.
discuss why you're doing what you're doing and what the ethical reason is behind it. I think children, the children I've worked with, and the teenagers and the tweenagers all can relate if you give them a why. Right? I'm doing this
Yeah, they
because,
can relate, and they can also appreciate what you're saying. And that's how you teach them, because when they become adults, they're going to do the same thing to their kids, and they will now know why you said it. Like, I know a lot of traditions my family have. I have asked my mom why do we do it? And she didn't ever have explanation. She said, my mom did it, so we do it.
Oh,
Because it's traditional, it's medicine that's passed from generation to generation. They don't question at that time, right? In the olden days, like, you don't question your grandma when they say, if you have a tummy ache, you drink this, and it works. When my mom gives me stuff, it works. But the thing is, if I asked her, why do you do this, what's in here that's helping me, she didn't have those explanations because they
interesting.
never were told. It just was accepted. That's how older generations are, right? So that's also why I tell my son. And then he would ask, why do we eat this food on these days, right? We have certain foods in culturally we would eat it, and why? And then there's a reason why you ate it. And then, so there's always a why. So
There's
it's
always a why.
really
Yeah.
good conversation to have with your kids is the why, and that connects and sets this tone for their own path in the future.
Right. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. All right. The next one I have, the third one, was create new technologies and solutions. So that goes into the World Economic Forum skill of
Design.
technology design and programming. And the activity I thought of for this one is one that I love to teach. Create new game or gadget using a simple 3D design tool like Tinkercad. I love that one, and teaching 3D design. Or a fun DIY electronics kit because, and again, right, my backstory, right? I came from being a maker. I love being a maker and having that mindset of I can fix things. I can figure out things. I can see how this works, right? So that maker mindset has all of these wrapped into it. And that's what I love. That's why I want to really reach children through a hands on approach and through STEAM, because that's this maker mindset or the maker movement, if you've heard of that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell everyone, that our kids consume, but we also have to have a ratio of consume and creation, right?
Right.
Create. You have to also create. Do not just consume it. Ask yourself, how did that become this when you're consuming it? That just makes that why again, coming back to why. Like my
Right.
son plays games. I've always asked him, have you ever thought about how that was designed? Who designed it? What are the things that goes into it? Just don't play it. Ask those questions. I'm not asking you to at least not create all of it, but just have a, back of your mind, how. And that's the making mindset, right? Like you're saying, the maker.
Right. Right. Yeah. Even as simple as cardboard box and duct tape. It can be that simple of that mindset. And you can do all of these skills in just a simple cardboard box and duct tape.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's family time too, right? Fun time. And
Absolutely.
yeah, bring everyone together, talk about it, build out a blueprint, strategize,
Mhm.
blueprint, then go to
Yeah,
work.
we talked about that last week. Remember, yeah, about designing the garden or a little family resource center. So yeah, absolutely. So many things can be designed and made. All right. Number 4 was adapting and thriving amidst change. I can say that. Adapting and thrive, because I wrote thrive. Thriving amidst change. So that again is the resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. Here I am being flexible. So again, the activity I have here is creating a change journal where your child can document changes they've experienced, reflecting on how they adapted and what they learned. And this change journal, I was thinking, it doesn't have to be like, okay, I changed this or whatever. It could be I changed my height, I changed my attitude, I changed my mindset, I changed my skill set. There's so many changes that I think children think they will remember. But in my experience of working with whatever thousands of kids at this stage, they don't necessarily remember yesterday, right? Much less what they were like a year ago and how much they've learned over this year. So even just if they did pictures or words or a quick, uh, I don't know, drawing about the change and then look back at it in a year, right? I think you know this yourself. I do. When I look back at a year ago and go, wow, how have I changed?
And
So,
writing down too, like I have journal, like I start my day with that and write those things down, right, every day. I
mhm,
can look back a year ago what I said, and usually what I said has been accomplished, right? So then I'm so proud, like looking back,
right,
I'm like, I wrote that a year ago. Now look at the same time now. I've already living in it, or I'm doing it, I'm going there. And those are things that writing helps, because it's also, you're not constantly battling in your head. Sometimes, you have too many things in your mind, right? So
Mm-hmm.
by writing it down, drawing it out. I have a drawing too, how I would become. I have a
Nice.
drawing that I had back in like 4 or 5 years ago. So those are things you look back and you really, really can. I can resonate with that. It's powerful.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And it's a good habit for our kids to teach.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So,
So
and then
again,
I want to touch on the stress part, the stress tolerance
right.
part that you have there. So,
Mm-hmm.
right now, I think a lot of kids don't know when they are stressed. Like, they don't know that they're stressed. They
Mm-hmm.
don't know they're going through anxiety. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like they don't understand that's what's happening to them, and they're kind of confused with that state, right? So, we
Well,
really have
yeah,
to,
or it's become their new normal, right?
yeah, yeah,
An
yeah.
anxious state has become their new, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to relax. That's why so many relaxation techniques are very important part of their growth too. So yes, 100%. So the last one we have.
All right. The last one was solving problems with logical reasoning.
Hmm.
So, of course, that's the reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So, coming up with ideas, lots of ideas. Design thinking is very good for that. So again, just do puzzles with your family, logic puzzles. I like to give that as a starter of every time I see a child. I call that, getting your brain here, present, right? Doing logic puzzles, little easy ones. There's so many fun ones on the internet. Um, Board games, strategy games, anything that involves problem solving. Because as you saw, right, those are the 5 out of 10 skills are project problem solving skills. So they're super crucial to think about that. And why? Because you can discuss everyday problems as you're playing with your child. You can talk about like the literal problems that are going on. Okay, the plumber didn't show up today and the water is spilling all over the kitchen. What are we going to do? Or just simpler problems, or even just like you were talking about, that stress management could be a problem. Like, I noticed you're anxious. Oh, I am? Right. Yes, let's talk about anxiety. Here, come look, work on this puzzle with me as we talk and work out problems and solving them, right?
Absolutely. So I want to touch on this problem solving. So it's not just like, we sometimes, as we advance in technology and the world speeds up, like seems like it's speeding up on us, right? We think that we need to invent new things to actually teach our children some skills, but it's just going back to the basics, right? Playing those board games, it's never going to go away. It doesn't matter what other chat GTP or what level of machinery is going to come in our advancement. That is the place where you connect with your kids. That, just going back to it. And I also, for my son, we like to drive. I've always given him to figure out how to get there on the
Oh,
GPS, the map.
fun.
Right?
Uh-huh.
The map is always his. And he sometimes gets angry. Mom, I don't understand how to do this. Well, you have the GPS, you have the map. You're going to tell me which way we're going to turn, and we're going to get there. You just have to get me there. It doesn't matter how we're going to
I
get there.
love
You're just
that.
going to get it. So that's problem solving, right? Like, that's,
Uh-huh.
it's not a board game, but that's really important for him, because otherwise I'll always do the job for him and he'll never learn it. So that's simple things like that, right? And sometimes he'll come with me to the grocery store and he'll be like, where do I find milk? Well, study what, like always, the milk and everything that's important is on the edge of the store, right? Our grocery store, if you notice, right?
Right,
It's
right.
by the walls, right? So have you studied how these are designed? And then we'll talk about these, these unhealthy stuffs are in the middle aisles. You want
Right
to
when you
go,
walk in the store. Yeah.
yeah. So I've actually told him there's a design to this store. Let's look at this, right? And I would say that's where you would go find milk. You just have to go to the walls, the three walls, and then come to the front. There will be cashier. Now he knows, like, those are simple things, but instead of finding it for them or telling them where it is, you just tell to ask them to study it. Give
Right.
them time to study it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, those are great. Those are fun things. I might try those with my son, the map making one or the map following one. That sounds fun.
Awesome. So what else do you have? Is there another slide?
So I
Yes.
just wanted to wrap it up by
Yes.
again just talking about how all of these come together, right? Last time we talked about the wings of this person that you can see, right? By making the mindset, the skill set, the action set, and the tool set all come together to create that intrinsic motivation in the children. So all of these things that we've talked about, all of the skills absolutely relate to getting the right mindset. And oh, funny little story today, my son even said it. He used the word. I was so happy. Today, Mom, wasn't in the right mindset for my reading therapy. I said, well, so we talked about strategies to fix that, but I love that he said that word. Anyway, so he's learning
So
as well.
I like it. I like it because that's the thing. We then also give our kids language to use, right? The proper language to use. It's not that I'm upset. It's not I'm just not in the right mindset.
Right.
It's way better.
I know. I was like, yay. So, so we then talked about, the tool sets that he needs to go in tomorrow to be in the right mindset. So all of these that I do with the hands-on maker project-based learning and those skills, like I said, are also the 21st century skills, the approaches to learning skills, and these World Economic Forum skills all come together. And I think it just is such a beautiful intersection for coaching and reaching children, kind of like you were saying with the STEAM. Maybe they don't know they're doing some of these things, but as they do hands-on and they create a project or design something, then they are doing science and math without maybe knowing it. So, and
And
then
I like the creative part that
Mhm.
they're making it, the maker part that you keep saying. So I wanted to tell people who are listening about you and what you offer. So as a holistic neurogrowth learning success coach with the years of experience in the STEAM, in the school system, teaching it in public and private, and training teachers in AI, right? You offer this program, what do you call it? Makers? What is it called again? STEAM?
Yeah, I'm working with the title here. I'm actually working on a book. Actually, I'm working on coming out with a book, just in the final steps now. But Bright Minds, Bold Futures is what I'm calling this. Yes, the
Awesome.
Bright Minds, Bold Futures is my program, and it's definitely what I'm called this little talk here, and the book I'm kind of writing. So, creating these bright minds and bold futures, because I think it encompasses what I want to do as a holistic NeuroGrowth learning success coach, is just really use these bright minds that our kids have so that they can step into the future and be successful, and also equip the parents to do that as well.
So if you want to reach out to Lori, she's got some programs that she runs as well as a holistic neurogrowth learning success coach. So thank you, Lori, for bringing these. I really love that they're paying attention to problem solving. That's like in my mind, that's so important as an expert in math. I just think that's the most important skill we can give our kids, is to solve problems. Every day
Yes.
we're solving them. So why not learn techniques, fill those toolbox with tools that fits me. That's the thing about our programs, is we don't just give tools that just fit everybody. We give tools that fits that student, right? That
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And with the right skill and with the right mindset, you can take actions with the guidance of a holistic neurogrowth learning success coach.
Yes. I'm so excited to help you achieve your mission, Kohila, of
Our mission.
our mission.
Reach
Oh, yes.
1.5. I tell you, today I was talking to someone and they said our mission is too low and we're going to achieve it by 2025. So we got to increase it, apparently. So I said, okay,
You're
great.
like,
Thank
yes. All right, write that in your journal. Today,
you.
someone told me.
He said, you're going
Yeah.
to reach that by 2025, not 35. So 10 years earlier than what we think. So that's great to hear this morning. Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you. And thank you, all of you, for watching. And if you want to reach out to Lori, you know where she is. She's on everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So there you go. Thank you. Have a blessed night. Thank you, Lori.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.